the whole world that you're mine. Show the whole world that you're mine.
Fox Country 100.7. Good morning to you, Eric B. Hanging out here with you, Locash and Ring on every finger. Well, of course, we're talking about the whole situation that is going on down in Las Vegas at this time. And I when, of course, saw everything kind of breaking down and what was happening in Las Vegas, I immediately thought of some friends of mine who were actually on vacation in Las Vegas and message to make sure that they were okay. And on the phone with me is a young lady who is a Gillette resident by the name of Brittany Helgoe. And good morning, Brittany. How are you this morning?
You're good. How are you?
I'm doing good. You guys are, and I was just kind of talking with her a little bit off the air, and we were chatting about that you guys were you were attending a show in the Mandalay Bay last night. I believe you said a Blue Man Group situation, and then of course they said that you talked about the show was so loud and stuff like that you couldn't have heard anything. But where were you at about the time when all this was starting to kind of break down a little bit?
So when we finished the show, we headed back over towards, they're called the Mandalay Bay shops, and then we had started to go out the door because we figured we'd enter our way back to our hotel eventually.
Right.
And as we had walked out the door, we were basically walking into the crowd of the people that were running from the concert, and they were like, hey, don't go out there, there's a shooting. And I won't forget the face of this gal. She immediately grabbed my hand and was trying to pull me back into the hotel and kept telling me, don't go out there, don't go out there. And I was trying to ask her, I was like, why? And she's like, there's gunshots being fired, you need to get to your hotel room now. Well, of course, we're, just a little ways from our hotel, and that's the direction that we had to go. And so we're like, well, so we immediately pulled back into the hotel, but, we were essentially walking straight into the crowd.
Oh my! And of course, what was the atmosphere as far as like individuals that were running? Obviously, you said the situation of people that were telling you to get back into stuff, but what was kind of what were you seeing as far as a situation?
You can see a lot of fear in their faces. There was a lot of people that were crying. They were immediately jumping on the phones, running for their lives, literally. It was not the funnest experience that we've ever been through. No,
absolutely not, and I wouldn't wish that on anyone. And of course, the news reports, and of course you're right there in the middle of it all and seeing the news as well too. And they're talking about this being the worst deadly mass shooting in U.S. history, with over 50 people at this point, 50 people confirmed at this point that have lost their lives, and 200 that have been injured as well. And the thing was it was just a simple, or not a simple, but a music festival that was going on right outside the hotel. Basically, they said right across the street, and people were there to celebrate. It was a country music festival, and Jason Aldean was actually on stage when all this took place. And it's just one of those situations where you don't expect that kind of stuff to happen at a music festival. So that's why I wanted to touch base with you, because like I said, obviously I know you, but I also wanted to make sure that you guys were good and everybody was okay. But at the same time, let you be able to share with the folks of Northeast Wyoming that are concerned about you, that know you're there, that know you guys are okay. You and your husband Matthew were down there as well too. And what was any reaction from Matthew at all as far as what's been going on? Because he, as I understand, is military, and of course there's some
yes.
There's probably some instincts for him to kind of want to jump into action.
Yes, he was more than willing to walk into the crowd, and I was one that I was like, yeah, no, we're going back in. And so I stepped back into the doors, and Matthew was still outside attempting to walk towards it tonight.
Right, man.
I was like, no, we're going this way. But it's like
take control, Brittany.
Yes, everything definitely happens for a reason. So there was a few of us that were looking at purchasing the concert tickets, and they wound up selling out, minutes before we could get our tickets purchased in time, and it just lets us know that it does happen for a reason.
Oh, yeah.
There's a reason we were not at that show, thankfully.
Yeah, absolutely, and who knows what the situation could have been. But one of the things I have to share, too, is obviously Matthew's instinct to want to assist his fellow human beings is exactly what happened within the crowd that was there. I don't know if you've heard this or not, but there were innocent citizens, there was law enforcement, there were folks who are retired military, active military, anybody that was there. nobody had a concern for their own life other than to help their fellow human beings and these fallen individuals. They were using tables. They were using hard signs, fencing, anything that they could do to create stretchers to get people out of there. They were flagging people's trucks down and throwing people into the back of trucks and hauling off to the hospitals and stuff. It's just, that's one of the things that kind of makes me kind of feel good about this situation, is the fact that there are people, the human instinct kicked in, and everybody was there to help everybody else. And it wasn't about race, color, creed, ethnicity, or anything to that nature. It was all about, we're helping our fellow human beings.
Absolutely.
And,
and as we were running, as we were basically getting out of there and trying to make our way down the strip back to where we needed to be, I couldn't tell you how many ambulances and fire trucks and everything that we had seen running past us. And it was one of those moments where it was so thrilling to watch them just race past you, and it wasn't just one by any means. There was just a line of them.
Absolutely.
And just to look south of the strip and see how many flashing lights that you've seen down there, at first it was like, okay, maybe it was one gunshot, but then when we started hearing, the rest of it, and we heard from people. That was the biggest fear, is it was like, get us back to our hotel, because then in the meantime of all this, there was definitely all these stories, it's at this hotel, there's more there's more armed people, and then they were bringing up a car bomb, and so I told Matthew, I was like, get us off the strip, just get us out of here. And we were actually going to reach out to possible family and friends down here to just get us off the strip all the way around.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm glad that you guys are safe, and I'm glad that things are somewhat calming down there as well too. And thank you for taking time and visiting with me this morning, and I really appreciate it. Like I said, I'm glad you guys are okay, and we'll chat with you guys soon. You guys are flying back today, correct?
Yes, this morning, as long as flights and everything are good to go. Last we knew, everything was delayed and at a halt, so we're just waiting. Well,
absolutely. That's what they want to do, is keep everybody safe, because you don't know what the situation is. So, all right, Brittany. Well, thank you guys. Safe travels back to Gillette, and thanks for taking the time to visit with us this morning.
Thank you.
All right.